Kenny, you were back at the training ground recently. How good did that feel?
Yeah, we've got a duty of care to our players to look after them, to give them some guidance, really, and most importantly, support through all of this. It still is and has to be on an individual basis. We understand and respect that, and setting them different programs that now, as the lockdown continues and the time becomes, a slightly different period, i.e., a much longer period without obviously full-time training and playing.
There seems to be a bit of a growing feeling that the season for League One and League Two clubs will be over, although playoffs are not ruled out of the equation yet. Is a 2-game punt at the Championship appealing as it sounds?
Yeah, it is, and whatever the powers that be decide is the right thing. There's conflicting reports, and one day you feel very positive about it when you read things, and other times you can't necessarily see that happening. But in the end, our job is to make sure we're ready should people decide that there's some sort of playoff system or things continue for this season. It does seem though that through May and certainly over the next week, I think that things will have to be coming to a head. Decisions will have to be made by the powers that be. There's no way of keeping everybody necessarily happy. I think somebody has to make a decision just for the greater good of the game to make sure that in the end, we have a product and we have an industry to go back to.
If the season is scrapped, what are the plans with regards to readiness for the following season? Do pre-season plans alter at all?
Yeah, it very much depends when that is. If it's a normal pre-season, i.e., late June, we would be going back like most clubs. Then between now and then, I would be looking to keep ticking over. It's not a situation where I think you give people too much time off is necessarily very good for them. I similarly then don't believe in hitting them too hard, but the exercise rules have been relaxed slightly, but you have always been able to go out once a day anyway, and I think it's important that you do, and very important for footballers that they do then get that work in, get that support. So between now and let's say whenever next season is, I wouldn't be looking for too much time off. I think maintaining fitness and then at certain times stepping it up again, working around the regulations, making sure we don't take any risks whatsoever with people. But there may need to be, with a build up to the season, with the amount of time that we've had, there may need to be a longer pre-season, more, let's say, old-fashioned and conditioned approach towards working towards the football phase of the work back.
Back when we played Arsenal, we were all aware of this virus, probably not to the extent that it's now, but could you foresee the devastation it was about to cause here, both to human life and sport?
No, not at all. And, it's obviously a new thing. It's not necessarily caught, but it's something that's hit the whole world. Different countries have reacted in different ways and to different, levels of fatality, unfortunately. But as you say, it escalated very, very quickly then within, a number of weeks. And obviously then lockdown was enforced. Coming out of lockdown is proving and will prove to be, something of a different test. I don't think it will be a straightforward decision. That's why it will be different things for different age groups, maybe industries, and things will have to be phased in. And around it all, we're all going to have to use our common sense as well to know that although we can follow the rules, the regulations, the social distancing, and make sure that we are sensible in our approach to everything. The virus hasn't gone away, and it's not looking like it'll go away for a while. So how it affects football anyway is something that I think during the course of this month will be discussed at length, and finally and ultimately decisions made.
Hopefully it isn't, but if the season is done here and now, it must be pretty hard to analyse. Where would you start?
Yeah, we would be obviously, and have done. I have done within, the last few weeks. I've watched all of our games. I've watched most of the games. I think now, right the way through the division, and after a tough start, we recovered well and put ourselves into a good position, and without really being, let's say, a side that can go to the top and really pull away. We've always been in there, and that's been us. We deserve a degree of credit for doing that. But then, my job is then to ultimately, when we do come back, try to make us better and see if we can bridge that extra gap to being, a really class team. That would be where we would want to be. And obviously, during the course of that, you need some luck. You need some luck with injuries, key players. But then it does come back throughout the summer to squad building and squad planning. That's such a big part of it. Getting those decisions right in the summer is a massive part of what happens during the course of the season. And, this summer may present different challenges with, obviously, we don't know when the season's going to start yet. And also the duration of the window may be different, but, we have to adapt better than the competition. That's it. I've still been hopeful all the way along of being able to resume this season, though. And although, as you say, it's looked unlikely at times. There is talk in some outlets that there may be a mini tournament or a playoff system at the end. So, if that's what we focus on at the moment and make sure that we get all the players in the mood ready to do that, if it does come about and, we're in it, we have to be ready and try to take that chance to get into the Championship.
Like you said, we bounced back well after the new year, went on a great run in January and parts of February as well. What do you feel the team could have done better to have been in those automatic promotion spots before?
Yeah, it was a tough start, definitely, and we didn't really get some of the combinations right. I don't think the amount of games off, even unusual situations, the Victorious Festival, the international situation, the game against Bury, things that nobody could have done anything about. But we didn't really get into any type of rhythm. But when we did, we picked up and we found a bit more of a consistent lineup selection, way of playing, a formation, and a combination of players that the players did grow into. And as I said, put ourselves into the frame and in with a very good chance. Ultimately, all the way through a season, it looked a very tight and competitive top of the division. And I'm sure during the final 9 or 10 games, which everybody had to look forward to, there'd have been many twists and turns. Hopefully, we'd have found the right combination, got the right run together, and got ourselves into the Championship.
Pompey are always one of those clubs expected to push on before the start of the season. They're always predicted to be up there. Does that expectation get harder each season when promotion doesn't happen?
No, I don't think so. I think the expectation is good. I do think that there's expectation in clubs like Portsmouth, and I think that's a good thing. And if the season does complete, it does look like it may be a playoff system now. If that is the case, then we have to make sure we're ready, and we will be. We'll be ready. The players will be focused. They'll be fit, and they'll be looking forward to it as well, and hungry and keen to do that. If that's not the case, and we go into next year, then we work hard at trying to solve the equation, to try to turn us from a side that's been very competitive in the league in recent seasons to one that can ultimately make the step up to the Championship, which is what we all want.
You always say the league is your priority. Is it time to show that, be slightly more detrimental to the cup competitions, which of course we've always done well in as well? Yeah,
we have. And you're looking at the last 2 seasons, 62 games last year, and then this year we were heading for similar. And success in the cups, that's been it. But it's been a good part of the journey, and I wouldn't change that. When the cup competitions come around, I always want to win them for whatever reason. And many of the early rounds of the cup competition were in our, let's say, sticky time at the start of the season. We needed to try to win those games just for our own self-confidence and try to build some momentum. So, in that respect, while there was at times 2 weeks between a league game, we needed to win those games. And all right, then ultimately it gave us more games moving forward, but it helped us pick up. So, there's been a lot of positives to it. Some Premier League opposition coming down. As you say, latest one was obviously the Arsenal game, and a Wembley appearance last season, and unfortunately one that we haven't quite fulfilled yet, but one to look forward to, a Wembley appearance this year. So many positives out of the cup, and no, I wouldn't change it, or don't look like changing the policy in the future.
Do you think the squad you currently have is more than capable of reaching the Championship?
I think we've got a very good squad, definitely. And if I'm looking at the players, let's say that are contracted for next year, that's a solid squad. There's some good players there, and I think I've got under contract anyway some very good forward players as well. And that's a positive. And they're always the hardest players to get. There's some building needed behind that, but similarly. To make sure we get a balance, one or two key individuals that perhaps we can sign, then that would add to what I consider to be a talented group, a good group of age-wise as well, with the best years to come. And if we can make the right decisions, the key decisions and additions, then I think yes, it's a squad that can certainly pick up and do well. What the financial landscape looks like though, as we go forward, obviously, it's going to be different. There is no doubt about that, and how we adapt is going to be a key, but we have to just be better than the opposition. And I have faith in the players that we have contracted that they can pick up things whenever that is, this season or next, and be able to continue to build on the good work and trying very hard to go forward.
Like you mentioned there, wage reductions are going to be one of the many changes coming into football now because of this pandemic. Do you feel it becomes more of a level playing field in regards to getting out of the division?
Yeah, there's talk of salary caps, of using this particular time to align football's finances. So again, how that's sort of coordinated between, let's say, the EFL, the Premier League, Europe, the non-league pyramid, is going to be quite a big challenge. That, but it does seem as if there's certainly discussions about salary caps and making sure that football's a little bit more accountable financially, because let's be fair, it's tough times now and tough times ahead for all football clubs, and things will change. But I do still feel that with the owners that we have and the fan base that we have, that if we can just stay solid and strong, I think we can continue to grow and improve. There may be some we might have to adapt along the way, but I do feel coming out the other side, we'll be one of the stronger clubs, definitely.